Hello, welcome to Geeking Out with Shad. I've had my coffee this morning and it's got me all excited to show you this new build tool for web application development. I'm going to focus on React with this tool. If you are a React developer, and React is by far the most common framework for web applications right now. You have probably used a thing called Create React App. Well, Create React App is on its way out, and this new build tool is becoming really popular with the React community. And the tool is called Vite. So I'm going to basically show you how to build a React app from the ground up. Super simple, super basic, using Vite, and I'll add a few things in there. I'll put a router in there, some navigation, some really basic things just for a simple React app, so you can see how quick and easy it is using Vite to just get started building an app. So here we are. This is the Vite website, and of course, next generation front end tooling, so on and so forth. Your typical marketing, what it can do, things like that. Super cool. There's a lot of advantages to this, so if you want to read about them, it's on the site. But I want to just jump right into how you get started. So getting started, this is pronounced Vite. I have a tendency to say Vite all the time. So if I say Vite throughout this tutorial or at some points in it, that's why. Because when I look at the word, Vite. I think Vite. But
Vite.
They say Vite. All right. Coming down here, we'll kind of ignore that section. What I want to talk about here is all your different options. If you're just building just a plain web application with JavaScript, you're not going to use some kind of fancy framework. You can just start with just plain JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript, whatever you want to call it. You can even do a TypeScript version of it if you prefer to use TypeScript. Then you can use Vue, which is also another popular framework, and then React and React TypeScript. So for each of these, you have an option to do TypeScript, but we're going to focus on React for this tutorial. But it's pretty cool that this tool allows you to pick and choose, and it'll be kind of interesting to see if in the future, if something new comes around or whatever, they add it here or not. But let's scroll down. npm yarn, I don't really use this, but a lot of people use Yarn. I actually use Yarn on my work computer. If you notice, I am on a Windows machine, so I'm just going to use npm because it's came out of the box with my Node installation. And then down here, I will do the Yarn. I'm over 7, so if you have version 7 plus, you'll want to use this version of the script. So that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and start building an application. So a couple of things that you'll want to know before you even get into this is you'll want to know React. That's pretty important. You'll want to know how npm or Yarn or whichever way you whatever tool you use, and you'll want to know HTML, JavaScript, and a lot of those basics for building web applications. So that's kind of your prerequisite before we dive in. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so I just copied that line into my shell here, and then I'm gonna just name this Vite tutorial. And then I don't want to do Vue, I want to do React. We'll go look here and you can see all the different options you can start with. So I want to do React, so that's what we're going to do. And I'm already in the directory that I have all my other tutorials and stuff in, so we're going to go ahead and hit enter, and this will build me out a basic app. So then we want to do cd into Vite tutorial, and then if I do a directory, you can see it created the bare bones for my app. But we don't want to look at it through here. We want to go into my IDE, which is VS Code, and start looking at the app from there because it's much easier to see what's going on. Okay, here you go. I opened up VS Code and you can see it created a Vite config file for me, package JSON with all of my basic requirements to get this app started. Of course, your index page, if you look at your index page, it's going to point to main. Is that what this is? Yep. Main inside the source folder, and then inside here it's going to have app. So pretty typical kind of how you set up a React app, and then app is kind of where everything gets started. You'll notice it throws in some basic CSS and things like that. So let's go ahead and run install command because we need to install all of this stuff, and then run this app. So basically we want to open up our shell. We're going to type npm install, and that will take a moment here. Okay, so now if we go back to VS Code, you'll notice the node modules folder got created. If you've ever looked in here, it's always just lots of stuff. We basically never really mess around in that directory, but that's where all of your dependencies for your app reside that you're going to put here. So you should already kind of know this stuff. If you don't, you'll want to learn this stuff because it's really important. So we're going to go look at the source, and basically it's going to kick off this app, you know, from main.js to the app, and you can see there's some basic like HTML going on here, things like that. So we'll go ahead and run this app. Usually how I figure that out is they'll have some scripts in here. So they've got dev, build, and preview. I'm going to run dev because I want it to update when I make changes. So I'm going to type in npm run dev, and that should give me, address to put in my browser, and then we should be able to see the site. We'll go to a new tab. There we go. There is the bare bones React. They have a little bit of functionality where you click on this button and it just counts up each time you click on it, so on and so forth. But we don't want this. This isn't what we want. This is just kind of their basic start page. We want to basically strip all this out. We want to put a router in here so we can have some navigation, and we want to add some pages and things like that. So let's go ahead and get into doing that. Okay, so I basically just stripped everything out. I took out the CSS they had and so on and so forth. I probably don't even need what's in this assets directory. Yeah, there's a SVG. Actually, I might need that because I think it's right here. Yep. Oh no, that's a Vite SVG. Just want to start with a clean slate. So the main and then the app are super simple, and then I can start adding in my router and things like that. So if we look at the site right now, it's basically just going to say my app. There we are. Super basic. So yeah, let's go ahead and put a router in here and add a page and see how that works. Okay, so here I started creating my router. So if you look, I created a page here called home, and then it's basically just component returning a header and paragraph. Super basic. And then in order to view this page, I added it to the path. Notice I did both of these because like homepage, usually if you don't have anything in the path, it should just default here. So this would be like my default page. There's other ways to do this. This is like the super basic way to do this. And this tutorial isn't about React Router, so we're not going to go down that path. I'm going to keep it really basic for simplicity. But if we look at the page, you'll notice that it basically has a header, home, and then this is my new home page. You'll also notice that if I do /home here, the page doesn't change. It's the same thing. So that's what the router does. Super cool. But we want more than this. We want some navigation. We want more pages, things like that. So I'm just going to create another page, which is going to be a videos page, and just have a couple of videos in there from my other channel, so we can navigate back and forth between these two pages. So let's go ahead and do that next. And really, I've been at this for about maybe 10 minutes, and I've already got an app started. I'm well on my way to creating a React app. Okay, so I just quickly created a new page called videos. It's here. Basically, it's just got a heading, my videos, and then just a couple of videos from my other YouTube channel. Here, pretty straightforward. And then when I go here, you can see that I added a new route right here. Pulled in the videos page, and so on and so forth. So now we have a basic router. So we'll go look at the site. And so we do have the home page, and then if I type videos in here, if I can spell it, I should get, yep. So now we have a list of the videos. Couple of issues here. One is that we don't have any navigation on this site. And the other one is we don't have like a page template or something like that. You know, a common template between pages. What's really cool about the React router is you can do what's called nesting. So there's a couple of different ways you can create templates. You can just create a template and then import it in your page, and then use what React calls children to put your page inside the template. But you really want to do nested routing for doing templates, because it's pretty slick and you can kind of indefinitely do it, and it's pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and do create a template and then do some nested routing. So the first thing I did is I created a main template. So in a common directory, and I use a common directory because this will be used throughout multiple pages, or it's going to actually be used in the app file, but I'll show you that in a second. So basically what this does is it allows me to create a common navigation, and then down here where you see outlet is going to be where the contents of each page gets put. This is similar if you've used React Children before. It does a similar thing, except this is more specific to React Router DOM, and it's a super slick way to navigate around your application. So if we look at these, they haven't changed. I haven't done anything different than what I did last time, but if you go to the app file, you'll notice I added some things to the router. So I did what's called nested routing. Basically, you take a route, and all I did was put the template as the parent route, and then these are nested inside of it. So super simple. I mean, this is really easy to use. And so that main template will be on all the routes or pages or whatever components you want to call them within, nested within this main template. So, and if I wanted to create a different template for like a different set of pages, I could do that in another parent route, and so on and so forth. Super useful. React Router has become really powerful tool to build applications. You can even do multiple routes at the same time and create like a left sidebar that changes based on the page. I mean, it's pretty wild. So we'll go here and look at the page now, and you'll notice I have this pretty ugly thing, no spacing in between or anything. I haven't gotten any styling done yet on this site, so you'll see I'm at the home page, but I can click on videos and I go to the video pages. So now I can navigate back and forth, and you'll notice up here in the URL path, it changes from home to videos, and if we just have nothing, it'll default to home. And if you want to do like a 404 page, you'll do like a route with a star in it and have it at the end. You don't want to do that at the top, but at the bottom of your routes, and then have that go to a 404 page that you create. So super cool. But one of the big problems with this is that it's extremely ugly. So let's add some CSS and make this look a little prettier. Okay, here we are. I just threw some styling on it. Used Flexbox to lay things out a little nicer. Stuck with some basic colors and stuff. I'm not a designer, so don't expect this to look too fancy, but you can see we've got a header now. We've got a couple of navigation links, and this is our content area right here where our pages are going to load. I can navigate back and forth between pages, which is super cool, and I could just go ahead and start adding more pages. I basically am at a point in this application where I can just start developing like crazy and take off with it. So within a matter of like 15 minutes, I was able to get this to a place where now all you really have to do is focus on creating pages, putting content in there, and so on and so forth. So basically adding pages here, adding a route to it, pulling in the page component, so on and so forth, and you can just go to your main template, add another link, and it'll just all come together and you'll be able to rapidly build out a site. This is the power of Vite, it really gives you the basic framework to just jump in and start coding. You don't have to do any configurations or anything like that. And that is what's super cool about it. So there you have it, just a super basic tutorial on how to build out a React app using Vite. We touched a little bit about on React routing and creating a kind of a wrapper template or nested routes within a template. Things like that, super cool, kind of standard way you'd want to build out an application using React. So I hope you learned something. I hope you realize the power of Vite and how by specifying what framework you want to use, and if you want to use just the basic JavaScript version, or if you want to go with TypeScript, it'll configure everything for you. So if you did choose TypeScript, you don't have to go in and figure out how to add TypeScript into your app. It is just already built, ready to go that way. So super cool tool to use for building React apps. And I will be using this moving forward instead of Create React App, because Create React App is kind of old school. It's built on Webpack, and Vite doesn't use Webpack. It's got its own way of building out the site. So there you have it. I appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace.